I've never been good at following directions, so I just kind of did it my own way and made mistakes. And I told my wife, had I known that particular video is going to go viral, I would have dressed better. Now I get 100% of my business from this channel. All of a sudden, like out of nowhere, a video you did 2 months ago starts taking off.
All right, guys, we got living in Montana Will with us on this one. I'm super excited. Actually reached out to Will randomly. That's how we met. I had a few questions about YouTube. Even though I have a YouTube channel, I'm not nearly as far along as Will. I have over 1,000 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. I just got there a couple months ago, but Will probably got there a long time ago. But yeah, Will, if you want to introduce yourself, kind of, I guess your background and some people would be really excited to watch this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've lived in Montana now for 22 years, I guess it is, and used to run golf courses, so lived all over the country doing that, and ended up here. Met my wife here. She's from here. That's how we ended up here for the long haul. But yeah, I've been doing real estate ever since 2008, and started my YouTube channel 2020.
Nice. So what inspired you to start the Living in Montana YouTube channel originally?
Well, I'm not a cold caller. I'm not a door knocker. I don't like that. So it's probably not the best thing to be if you're in real estate. So I always look for ways to get people to call me. And I tried podcasting. I did that for about a year, maybe a little over a year,
What was that
um,
called?
living in Montana.
Okay.
It's still up. It was basically my YouTube videos, just audio, just talking. Um, but yeah, I got one guy, one lead from that one guy that actually showed up at my office, and he got scared that we had bears out here. So he bailed. He never even bought anything. Um, so yeah, then when I had started I have a bunch of Facebook groups, still do. So I was doing that.
Yep.
I've always been kind of into social media. And then when the pandemic hit, I'd always thought about doing a YouTube channel, just never did it. And then when the pandemic hit, there that first 2 weeks, if you remember, everyone was just kind of sitting at home wondering what was going to happen. And I thought, well, I might as well start making videos now. It's good as time
Yeah.
as any. So that's what I did. And yeah, I think my first one posted like the 1st of May of 2020.
That's crazy. Uh, I didn't know you started around that time, honestly.
Yeah.
So can you share your initial steps you took to get the channel off the ground?
I've always been kind of a self learner, and I just watched a bunch of videos. I watched a bunch of people that, the gurus telling you how to do it. And um, I've never been good at following directions. So I just kind of did it my own way and made mistakes. But everyone said you're supposed to post like 3 videos to begin with. And so I went out and filmed like 4. Um, and posted the first 3 the first week. And then I told myself I was going to do it, once a week for a year. I was going to give myself a year because it's what they require to get monetized. And I thought, I'm going to give it a shot, see if I can get to 1,000 subscribers in the 4,000 hour watch time or whatever it was. And um, so I've just been religious about posting every week, and I haven't really missed a week since that day. So because I have a irrational fear that if I skip a week, it's over and it's just going to come crashing down. And which I know that's not the case, but I know myself, and I know that if I skip a week, then I'll be like, I can, skip another one here
Yeah.
and there, and then I will stop.
How long did it take you to get to 1,000 subscribers?
Well, I'll tell you the story. So I started in May and, just started kicking out a video once a week. And then I started getting calls in like July. I was like, hey, people are actually watching this. And I probably had, I don't know, 300 or 400 subscribers at that point. And these people, again, it was the pandemic, and these people called me from Los Angeles. They had never been to Montana, and they're like, we have to get out of this city. We grew up here. We've never been away from here, but this is ridiculous. We're just locked down. We have to get out of here. And we've been watching your videos and we want to be free. And when we come up there, we want to live as far out away from everything as we can. And I said, well, have you ever been to Montana? And they said, no. And I said, well, I don't think you really understand what you're asking. And I said, you need to come up here first and see what you're getting into. And like 2 days later, they're standing in my office, and I couldn't believe it that, my videos made somebody drive all the way up from LA. So then we drove out to this place. It's like an hour out of town, way up in the sticks. Like I like to call it, beyond the banjos out there. And we got within, 10 minutes of the place, and they were following me, and I pulled over and I walked back to them, and their eyes were just huge. And I said, this is the middle of August, I guess it was at that point. What are you going to do in January up here? And they're like, yeah, why didn't you say something? This is way too far out. We could never live here. I was like, I did say something. So then on the hour drive back, I'm like, I should really make a video about, kind of warning people about what they're getting into here. And so I did. And like I said, at that point, that video came out on September 1st of 2020. So I was, 6 months in, almost exactly. And I think I had 600 subscribers at that point. Well, that video just went viral, like 1 million views within 2 weeks, kind of thing. It was the weirdest thing ever. And like I told my wife, had I known, right, at this point, it has 4 million views, or over 4 million. And I told my wife, had I known that particular video is going to go viral, I would have dressed better. So, but yeah, when that one hit, that's when I hit 1,000, and like it was just crazy. There was one day I remember, like the top day of that whole chaos. I got 2,500 subscribers in one day, so it was just, and I think it was like the perfect storm. And again, I had no idea. It wasn't planned. You know, I you could have, again, I'm still stunned by it 4 years later.
No.
But it was the perfect storm because it was right before the last election. And I made a little comment at the end of it where I said, uh, if you're going to move up here, you're moving from somewhere else that you don't like. So if you're going to move here, just, kind of fit in and don't bring what you're leaving up here, and you'll get along just great. Something like that. And that particular paragraph, just, that's what pushed it, because every comment then turned political. Because again, kind of like now, it was right before the last election, and everyone was very polarized and political. And I didn't say one word about Republicans, Democrats, Trump, Biden, nothing. But the video turned very political, and which was a good thing, because as you know, the more comments and whatever you get on there, the more they push it out. And people were arguing and, talking about just everything
I
political. And
bet.
so, yeah, I just kind of got lucky.
That's crazy. So why did you choose YouTube, or I guess you got Facebook groups as well, but for relocation buyers, or did you not? For me, I didn't really know what I was doing in the beginning, but it kind of, I don't know if you knew you're going to go after relocation buyers, or what was your mindset in the very beginning?
Again, it was purely, I didn't think it through hard at all. I just thought, because I was into social media and that's the one platform I hadn't really tried out yet. I didn't think anything of it other than I'm just, hoping to get some business from it. And what I've learned over the last 4 years is that, and it makes sense if you kind of break it down and think about it, but you mainly get buyers, because if you're going to sell your house, no matter where you live, if you live in Iowa or Montana, wherever, you already know what to do. You either call an agent or you do it yourself with the FISBO. You don't have to get on YouTube and say, how do I sell my house?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of common knowledge. But if, like, I'm moving to Iowa or Montana or somewhere I've never been, you get on YouTube because you want to see what it's like. And so that's what my videos are. They're basically just showing the area. And I do talk about things you should look out for, whether you're buying land or homes or things like that, but mainly just show the area and show what it's like. And I don't sell anything. I think that's part of the success too, is I don't, in the beginning, I tried a couple like listing videos, but nobody wants to watch that either. The only people that watch those are the owner of the house and their mom. So I've never really done those, and it's worked well.
Have you got any listings? Because I know one other friend that's doing it that has gotten one listing, he believes, from his channel, but you've probably gotten a few, haven't you?
Yeah, I've gotten a couple, but it's mainly, like I said, 99% is
Yeah.
buyers. And I've tried, when, I don't know, a year or two in, when I realized all I'm getting was buyers, I thought, God, it'd be nice to get listings. And I did some videos that I thought would attract listing people or people that are going to list. And I mean, those videos just tanked because that's not the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you had any challenges through it all or that you had to overcome?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I guess I would say my biggest challenge at this point, and it has been for a while, is trying to come up with ideas. I mean, it's been over 4 years now, and um, I've kind of, as much as I like to talk, I've kind of talked myself to death and
Yeah.
just trying to figure out new stuff. Now I'm kind of going back through and sort of redoing ones from the beginning. And um, so, yeah, I would say that's my biggest challenge.
Yeah. Now, how has the YouTube channel um contributed to your growth in your real estate business, like compared to before and after?
A million percent. I get 100% of my business from this channel. Uh, so yeah, I mean, I ended up because of this channel, I got a $6 million buyer. I had it closed at the very beginning of this year, and I ended up coming in at the top 20 of my entire company for sales, and it's all YouTube. So yeah, had I done it 10 years ago, I'd be retired by now.
Yeah, and in the last video I interviewed my friend Tim, but like and that came, my success story was from YouTube, but can you think of any specific clients that kind of, I guess, tugged at your heartstrings and you consider a real success story or one that sticks out to you?
I don't know. I enjoy working with people that have never been up here, and it's always been their dream to live up here, and so it's kind of fun to show people around. And I really can't put one person above everyone else.
Yeah.
They've all been good, and they're all happy, and um, no, it's been good.
What does that kind of look like? Like that, do they usually know what they're looking for? Um, what's kind of the average person reaching out?
Uh, they're all a little different. Um, Again, I get a lot of people that have never even been here, and I tell them, before, and you probably run into this too, maybe, I don't know, but these people that have never even been to Montana, and then they're like, I'm going to come up there and I want to look at 10 houses. I'm like, no, you do not want to look at 10 houses because you don't even know. Yes, you've watched my videos, but you need to go cruise around, check out the valley, check out different valleys down south of Missoula. Everybody wants to be in the mountains, I've noticed. And, um, just the western part of the state, there's all kinds of different areas. I'm up in the Flathead Valley in the northwest corner up by Glacier Park, which is a great place and it's beautiful and all that. But even here, there's, 6 or 7 towns in this valley. And, until you go explore them, why would you go look at a house in one area that you don't even, you haven't even been there until the day you look at the house? So I kind of guide people and tell them, hey, before we start running around looking at houses, you need to explore and hang out, and maybe not even on your first trip. Just come up here and hang out for a week and look around, and then when you come back, if you've decided, yep, this is where I want to be, then you'll know that, hey, I want to be in Big Fork, or I want to be in Whitefish, or wherever they want to be. So that's my strategy.
Now with you're nearly at 80,000 subscribers now, aren't you?
Yeah.
So how do you maintain like engagement? I'm sure you get a lot of comments that do you try to stay in touch with each comment, or how do you keep your content fresh and relevant?
Well, there again, that's back to my biggest dilemma, is trying to figure that out every week. As far as comments go, when I had that one video go viral, there were so many comments, and some of them were like nasty. You know, like I said, it got political, and so there's a button, I'm sure that you can click that I have to approve all comments. So I clicked that, 4 years ago, and I've approved every comment since, or not approved them. But yeah, I try and respond to most all of them. If they're, some people just comment on, thanks for the video, or that was beautiful, or whatever. You don't have to comment on all of them. I try to, but especially if people are asking questions or whatever, I'll respond.
Now this channel is about helping real estate agents, So if a new real estate agent were getting into YouTube or wanted to, I guess what is some brutally honest talk that you give them? Like, would you recommend doing YouTube? Would you, and if they were, do you have any like, I guess just honest advice, maybe not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear?
Well, the first thing I would say is you find out if you're comfortable on camera. And, nobody is to begin with, but, you get over it pretty quick. Um, but if you're stumbling around and nervous, and, it's not for everybody. Um, and a lot of people can't stand to look at themselves on camera or listen to themselves, whatever. And so you need to figure that out first. And it's not like I like looking at myself either, but I've just gotten used to it. Um, and then the second thing is, if that's a yes and you still want to do it, then you have to commit for a year of doing it once a week, or more if you want. But once a week is hard. It sounds pretty easy. Well, I can do one a week. Well, when you start doing it, you'll see that's a lot. But the reason I say that is because so many people won't start doing videos, or I shouldn't say they won't continue doing videos, because I'm going to tell you right now, the first, I don't know, 10 to 15 videos, nobody's going to watch. It's going to be very small views, and unless you get super lucky with one, um, it takes time. And if you don't do it for at least a year, then forget it, because there's no point. Because if you do 5 videos and think, well, this sucks, I didn't get a call and nobody's watching, you're right. It does suck, but you have to keep going, um, and commit. Otherwise, don't even bother.
Yeah. Um, Now, what are some common mistakes you see from maybe other living in channels or channels that are, I guess, trying to get, I mean, really honestly, relocation buyers? What's some mistakes that if someone's going to start a new channel or just started to avoid maybe doing the same things, or what's some advice around that?
I don't know. I mean, I can't really point to any. I don't, to be honest, I don't watch a ton of other channels like mine. Um, so I don't really know if I can't point to a single mistake. I guess again, the advice I would give is think about, you know, if you were moving to wherever, think about the questions you would have. Um, I'm sure, I've done videos on our, you know, wells around here and zoning stuff and covenants and I'm sure they're totally different than where you're at in Iowa. So just think about those kind of things and questions that if someone's thinking about moving to your area, questions that people would want to know about your area. Because that's what, it's worked for me. Um, Again, there's guys out there that do kind of listing type videos and whatever, and some of them they do okay with that, but I don't know. My channel is, basically an information channel about Montana.
Yeah, and kind of like you talked about earlier, I think realizing what your target audience, right? I mean, that's really who you're going after is, I mean, I'm starting to do pretty well on my Living in Iowa channel, and it's at first I was just like you, I was doing, listing or how to sell your home and all these things. And I guess you can kind of skip all that if you watch this and just realize that you're probably gonna go after relocation buyers, you know. How do you decide on topics or content for your videos?
Well, again, that's you keep asking questions about my biggest issue. Um, I don't know if there's a right or wrong way. I'm kind of obsessed with this at this point, and so it's all I think about. Um, and there'll be weeks where I will, I put out my videos on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, and again, that is totally random. It's because that's the first video I put out. It was on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock, so I kept, like I said, I've been religious about keeping my schedule. Um, but there, so I'll, so I'll put out my video at 1 o'clock on Tuesday, and then from 1 to 4, I just keep checking how it's doing, what's going on, and then the rest of that night I'm not too concerned. But then on Wednesday morning, I'm like, all right, what am I going to do next week? And it starts all over
Yeah.
again. And I've gone till Sunday morning, even Sunday afternoon sometimes without having an idea. And then just something will pop into my head, or I'll read an article, or I'll, you know, see something on the news, whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, well, let's go do a video about that. So I wish I had a better answer because that would help me. So
Do you do you do yours week by week, or do you try to get ahead, or
again, I would love to. Um, I'm excited because tomorrow I'm going, and this will come out. I don't know when you're going to publish this, but this will be after I do what I'm going to do tomorrow. There's some gals over on the other side of the mountains here that have a YouTube channel that I've been kind of following and contacted them, but they search for Bigfoot, and so I'm going to go. They're doing this hike to raise money for their channel tomorrow, so I said, hey, I'd love to go on that and do a video for my channel. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. But then while I'm over there, when we're done with that hike, then I'm going to tour the little town that's over there. It's like on the east entrance of Glacier Park. Um, so yeah, I'll have 2 weeks of videos after tomorrow, which is not normal.
is that Browning or
No, St. Mary
okay?
is
Yeah.
the town. that I'm going to do. We're meeting in Browning, and then we're going out into the backcountry to look for Bigfoot. But then after that, I'll head up to St. Mary and do some filming.
Yeah, if you make it out.
What's that?
I said if you make it out.
Well, if we actually do see Bigfoot, I'm going to guess, and I'll have viral video number two.
So obviously the NAR settlement is affecting, all agents in some way, whether big or small. So is there anything that you've implemented in response to the settlement?
No, I mean, honestly, because I work with buyers so much, and I know that they're kind of coming down on hardest on buyers agents, but I don't know. I mean, because people have already. That's the beauty of YouTube, and that's why I can't say enough good things about it. Is like I said, I don't like cold calling, don't like door knocking. I don't, I want people to call me. So the cool thing about YouTube is once you start doing videos for a while, they'll watch more than one if they like you. Um, and so I get when people finally do call me, it's over. They're my client. I don't have to sell them on, oh, you should use me, or I've sold this or whatever. I mean, they already feel like they know you, and it's it's kind of weird. I met with the guy the other day that, I started telling the story, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know you did a video about that." I'm like, shit. He knew everything about me just because I kind of just tell it like it is on my videos, and I'm no different. And that's the other comment I get all the time too, is they're like, "Oh, you're just like you are on your videos," and it just cracks me up. I'm like, "Well, that's weird." So, um, I forget where I was going with that, but yeah, I don't. Um, I haven't changed anything. I think these videos show my value, and people already like me, so they're gonna they're gonna use me when they call.
Did you do buyer agreements before this lawsuit?
Yeah, we have to in Montana, but I had never had them sign anything until we
Like to
would
show a
submit an
home? Yeah. Now you have,
offer.
I guess that's the one change I'm making, because I've never ever had anyone sign anything until I wrote an offer. I never, in order to show them homes, I never went down that path, but I guess that's one thing I'm gonna have to change. Um, and I already have. I already done it with one buyer now. So
How are they gonna monitor that in Iowa? Do you know?
that's the question, right? But it's all hearsay. I don't know what's true, what's not, but I think it's true, and that is that the loop or the opening that to reopen this lawsuit, right, is that if they catch one of us showing a home without a buyer's agency agreement signed, then they have the grounds to open up another lawsuit against NAR or whoever, right? So I'm just gonna do it because I don't want to get audited for some reason. I think that's possibly what could happen. But I really don't. I'm just gonna tell them that this is the way it has to be from here forward, and I'm pretty sure everywhere, even Montana across the United States, has to, in order to show a home, has to do a buyer's agency agreement.
Yeah, yeah, but I know that they're working on. I've read some things because that when a lot of I don't think the buyers realize this, and a lot of them. The reason I never had anyone sign until we wrote an offer is because I don't. Nobody likes to sign something, or they're uncomfortable signing anything, especially if it's saying you have to pay money. Um, so I know they're trying to figure out. I saw they're trying to do some 3 day window thing or something. So if someone just shows up, like if you're sitting floor in your office or something, and someone's like, "Hey, I want to go look at this condo right now," or they call you and I'm up at this condo, you know, I want to get in right away. They're trying to make it so that's not some weird, oh well, I'm going to bring a bunch of paperwork for you to sign.
Well,
So
like you said, and it rings true for me as well. But these people aren't calling because they want, like, they're considering using me or you. I don't. I don't foresee any real issues coming up from YouTube clients at least, right? So
Well, the only issue is going to be like the first time home buyers that don't have any money,
yeah,
and then you run into a house that they're not offering commission, then what?
I personally think it's like perfect timing but it doesn't really matter because the attorneys with the NAR or whoever, they obviously aren't fighting. So the election's coming up. No, the media's gonna be all over that. It'd be a good time to push hard against them, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So it's out of our control, like the weather. So just learn the
Yeah,
rules.
whoever NAR had for their attorneys must have just gotten out of law school or something because they were just horrid.
They didn't want. I mean, they didn't want to push back. That's pretty obvious. So I don't know what happened. I'm not an insider, and I don't. All I know is that if the rules change, we just gotta know them and adjust. I guess
Yep.
But what about like your future goals of your living in Montana channel and like I guess your real estate career? Like what kind are you looking at the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years? Really.
You know, I've really enjoyed the YouTube thing, and I'm looking at doing different channels myself. Um, I have one in mind already, but I haven't started anything yet. Um, and as far as real estate, yeah, it would be awesome if I could get my channel to, produce enough income on its own where I don't have to worry about selling houses. I'm a long way from that, but um, it's always good to dream. I never thought I would, have this many subscribers. So I don't know. And then I know it's a vanity thing and it means nothing except only to me, but I really want that plaque at 100,000. I just, all the work I've done and all the time I've put into this, that would be one thing I'd really like to get. Because I know that's kind of a big deal. And, there's hardly any channels, whether the real estate or anything, that ever get to 100,000. So it's kind of my goal at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I just got to 1,000 and I never I mean, I knew I'd get there, but I honestly didn't think I'd get here this quick. Um, like you said, it's the first video. I want everyone to realize this. He said it earlier. You're probably gonna get like 10 views, and that might be sharing it to your friends and family. So, uh,
Yeah.
but as you do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 videos, you'll start picking up some traction. And honestly, like my channel's living in Iowa, right? I don't get the views. I mean, I've really had to earn my views here in Iowa, and not saying that Will didn't because he's done a lot more videos than me, but I'm sure most of you are probably in a market that's more, I guess, clicked on YouTube. So it may not take you even as long as me getting to 1,000 about a little over a year. So it's definitely doable.
Well, and the other thing that I don't think I said earlier is, when you're first starting out, yeah, you're going to, like you just said, you're going to get 10 views or 15 or whatever. Um, but the thing about YouTube is it takes a while for the algorithm to find your audience. So what you'll see is, and I remember this even before my one went viral, is that all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, a video you did 2 months ago starts taking off for no reason. And well, I shouldn't say for no reason. The reason is because YouTube, they figured out, oh, there's some people that are curious about, the flooding in Iowa or
Yeah.
whatever. And then it'll just take off. And, I've had that happen a few times where I'll look at all of a sudden I look at my analytics and there'll be a spike and I'll be like, what the hell? And it's like, oh, the video from 6 months ago blew up for who knows why the algorithm decided to start pushing it out. But but it did. And that's where you'll pick up a lot of subscribers. Um, and again, that was to my earlier point. If you only do 5 to 10 videos and then quit, well, there you go. You're never going to get that.
Yeah, I mean I think we're both on the same page. I'm obsessed with it too. I think you kind of got to be obsessed with it, and it otherwise you're probably gonna stop doing videos because he's absolutely right. It is not easy to do one video a week. It sounds really easy and everything, but I promise you, after the 20, 30th video, you're gonna have a week where you're like, oh man, it's like him Sunday, and I haven't even shot a video, and I got to have it out by Tuesday, you know? And I was up, I actually fired my editor, and started doing my own editing. And 2 weeks ago, I wanted to put a video out Sunday because I always did Sunday. I tried Friday this week, and it's kind of blowing a dud, honestly, Will. But anyways, I stayed up till like 2 in the morning on Saturday because I was not going to not have that video out Sunday morning. So that's kind of the dedication you have to this sometimes. And I guess if you're someone that maybe doesn't procrastinate as bad as me, at least, that might be a good way to get ahead. And getting ahead would be nice, honestly, but I've only done it a couple times.
Yeah, if you can pick, like, again, I know this, but I don't do it. Um, but if I could set aside like a half hour once a week where all I do is sit in a enclosed room, turn everything off, and just think and make a list and come up with ideas. So I mean, that'd be awesome if I could, have 15 videos lined up where I know that, oh, I got to go shoot some B-roll or something for this video or shoot the intros or whatever. That would be awesome. I just sorry,
You're good. Uh, so I guess
Louis.
kind of like a getting all wound up. You see a bear?
Some Louis, come here. Come here. So I'm sorry, I don't know where I was.
Oh, you're good. We'll edit. I can edit a little bit. So what's like a final piece of advice you like to share with like real estate agents? Not necessarily only YouTube, but just like looking to grow their business.
Well, I think whether it's YouTube, whether it's postcards, whatever it is, the thing that'll kill you the most is the word you just said a minute ago is procrastination. And you just have to do it. And you have to be consistent no matter what you're doing, whether it's YouTube or, Instagram or whatever. If you're not consistent and you don't keep doing it, then, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I that's the truth. So I mean, you're at Real, so how could people get in touch with you or learn more? Do you sponsor people into the brokerage? Like, what's a way someone can get in contact you? Because this will be other real estate agents, and if someone, wanted to be mentored by Will, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, if you can list all this in the show notes. You can just put up my email and I'll just say it. He'll have everything in the show
Yeah,
notes. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of a geek when it comes to YouTube, and I love it, and I could sit and talk about it all day long. So whoever wants to chat, give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to answer any questions or help out.
yeah, and I mean, we're not even at the same brokerage. We're just we became friends through YouTube. It's pretty cool. I got other friends, but that I got a living in Greenville, South Carolina guy that I'm good friends with, but it's kind of crazy. It what I've noticed, I don't know how many other YouTubers for this but it seems like most of them are very client based. They know their market because I don't know about you, but and I know you know your market. it forced me to learn Iowa better than I already did, even though I grew up here. So I think that's one of the things that kind of no one ever tells anyone is you become a market expert whether you want to be or not, just by force of thinking what your audience wants to know. Because they're going to ask you questions, and if you've already done videos on it, you can just talk about it off the cuff. That's what I found.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, I don't know, I just thought of this while you were uh, talking about that, is one of the things that I didn't mention earlier that I should have mentioned that you have to get into your head is, and this is back to your question about being harsh and, the hard truth. Nobody cares about you. So if you can remember that, that'll make it makes it a little easier being in front of the camera. They've tuned in because they want to hear the information you're providing. They could care less where you ate this morning or, the whole Casey Neistat kind of blog. That's not going to work. I've tried it in the beginning and realized that nobody cares. They want to know about Montana and they don't want to know if they should move here. And um, when you start doing personal things, they don't care.
Nor should they. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole point of our channels is living in Iowa, living in Montana. And if you're making it about your life, it's kind of defeating the purpose, in my opinion. That's kind of why I'm not saying I'll never put myself in a thumbnail again, but I I kind of veered away from it, and part of it's been watching your growth and your channel. Is it's not about me, it's about Iowa in my case and Montana in your case.
Well, that whole thumbnail thing, that's one of my hot button issues that just annoys me to no end. And, you know, I, I'm not saying I'm an expert. Again, I just been doing it for a while now and this works for me, but I don't, you're never going to see me making some stupid face on a thumbnail because my thought process is, and I get, the gurus and they say that people connect when they see another face or whatever, and that's why you should do it. But my thinking is that we're supposed to be professionals, and would you go to a doctor if he was on a billboard going like that? No, you'd be like, "What's up with this dude?" And so I don't know. I just I'm one of these days I am going to make a video about that because I've been screenshotting the dumbest faces I've seen on YouTube with realtors, and they'll all be pissed at me when I do that. But it just annoys me, and I don't like that at all. Again, whether it's right or wrong is a matter of opinion, but that's just mine.
Yeah, well, thanks, Will, for taking the time to, I guess, talk to the audience about your success. I think it's pretty apparent why you're successful is you just kind of be yourself and don't try to push something on someone that you want one pushed on you, I guess.
Yep. But yeah, just if you're thinking about doing it, just go do it. You're never going to know if it'll work until you do it. So that's what I will leave with.